Hello, friends. Welcome to a new episode of the Mind Maverick by Rosalind Bosco. Today, I'm going to speak about a very important topic and which has personally affected me. Even now, the thought of this is affecting me. So, we know what a disease is. It means when there is a disease, we don't feel at ease with ourselves, whether it's a toothache or a cold or even a tummy ache, whatever it is, we are not at ease. So the same way, a disease can also refer to an uncomfortable situation with the mind. And mostly we see people accepting ordinary diseases like everyday illnesses like flu or a cold uh, or a tummy ache. But then when it comes to a disease of the mind, where a person does not feel so comfortable in the mind, then that becomes a taboo or a subject which cannot be openly discussed. So today I would like to speak to you about a, a, a disease that my dad suffered from, and which it which had a great impact on the whole family, and it led me to a kind of a search for the nature of the disease, and then how to keep my dad comfortable. And in this context, I published an article after my father passed. I published an article, two articles in the which were published in the Hindu, thanks to the Hindu. One was My Father, Me, and Parkinsons, and the other is Taking Care of a Parkinson's Patient. So, some diseases like Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's have some common symptoms. And I think it is high time that the caretakers or the people who the family members need to know more about these kind of diseases. See, these diseases are common nowadays because people live for a longer time. So, in olden times, where the mortality rate was like you people passed away in the 50s or 60s, many did not face these kind of diseases because they passed away early. But now people live for a longer time, and so as a result of that, these diseases are also rampant. And it is very important for the caretakers and the family members to understand that the person is not comfortable in his or her mind, so that uh, we treat them with all the respect that uh, they deserve. It is not an easy task, friends, because it is human nature to when a person acts very unreasonably, when a patient acts very unreasonably, it is human nature for us to also react. When a person who has always been very perfect in his or her lifetime, when he or she reacts in a very unreasonable way, it is normal for a human being to respond uh, with irritation or a kind of an annoyance, or even with the thought, why has this person changed like this? He or she was such a good person to deal with, a perfect person, but now the person seems to be changing. So now the reason for this is that the person is not has a dis-ease of the mind. So let me share with you the article that I published in the Hindu in 2013, after my father passed. So let me read it out for you, my friends. So this is the article that taking care of a Parkinson's patient. So you can see that it has been published in 27 March 2013. So, though, as I told you already, I did not know anything about Parkinson's when my father was diagnosed with the Parkinson's. And it was only later that I learned about the disease as my father's disease progressed. The word Parkinson's had absolutely no impact on me before the year 1995. It was at this time that my father was diagnosed with this disease. The best neurologist was consulted and medicines were prescribed. But it was a pity that the neurologist was a specialist, as it happens in most cases, and they have a very limited time for each and every patient. It's always a rush to meet a very renowned neurologist. So, my he was also a specialist and had very little time to spare. And as per the neurologist's suggestion, we gave some medication to my father, but the results were quite dramatic after my father began his medication for Parkinson's. The medicines caused illusions called hallucinations, and as a result, his brain triggered stimuli which caused him to visualize people, even men and women and children around him. For us in 2013, this was we hadn't heard of such symptoms from other people. He would wake up in the middle of the night with a room full of people he didn't know. He would try to defend himself from their assaults. It is necessary that people who are associated with the patient are educated about the condition of the patient so that they learn to accept the behavioral changes which are associated with the disease and the side effects of the medications themselves. Otherwise, the patient may have the misfortune of being branded as a maniac or a mentally sick person because of the frequent bouts of depression, which is a part of Parkinson's. Sometimes the side effects of these medications are not explained by the specialist. It is hard to blame them as they are burdened with too many patients each day. So, one of the characteristics of the disease is the instability it causes while walking because of lack of balance. The patient finds it very difficult to balance his or her steps while climbing a staircase or even walking generally. A person afflicted with Parkinson's should never be allowed to climb the stairs on his or her own. As the disease progresses, the patient finds it difficult to walk on a flat surface. This does not mean that the patient should not walk. A patient should always be assisted while walking, or a walker may be provided to help the patient walk on his or her own. Physiotherapy is a must for these patients. I still remember my father's energetic responses to physiotherapy, even 2 days before he breathed his last. As the disease progresses, the patient cannot be trusted to take medication on his or her own. Some of the medicines which are prescribed for Parkinson's have an adverse effect if stopped suddenly, even for a day. So it's better that the patient always has a stock of essential medicines. At the same time, since the patient is confused, it's also probable that the patient might take an overdose of the medication. The nature of the disease, along with the drugs, causes constipation, and care should be taken to prevent this by making sure that the menu is planned with an adequate quantity of fruits and vegetables. Parkinson's also increases nocturnal urination, which results in bedwetting, which may lead to further infections. Western societies have improved the living conditions of such patients, whether at home or at work. Uh, so, friends, uh, what I would like to tell you is that only now we are beginning to know a lot of people around us are being exposed, whether it is the patients themselves or it is the caretakers. They're being exposed to these kind of diseases, especially diseases connected with the mind. So I think it is the caregivers, the work of a caregiver is very, very, very difficult, friends. Now there are people who are experts, nurses who are available to take care of these patients. So if it is advisable that these patients have they could be exposed to some care like trained nurses who can take care of them for a while, so that there is not too much impact on a primary caregiver. There might be a different caregivers who can take care of these patients. So I'm very happy to share this my article, which was magnanimously published by the Hindu even in 2013, and it is also relevant at all times for people, as the role of the caregiver is very, very taxing, very exhausting, and also a very crucial one for the well-being of the patient. So please read my books on Amazon: God Has Our Backs, The Brimstone Fallacy, Highlights of a Course in Miracles, and Co-Create with the Universe. And please subscribe to me on YouTube. This is Rosalind Bosco, the Mind Maverick, signing off. Thank you.